Yep, I broke it. This is Dora, my 2001 Explorer Sport Trac. In March 2024, I took it to Sand Hollow, Utah, and got stuck in the dunes. Shortly after that trip, the fuel pump died. But I got it all fixed, did some timing chain replacements, and went back to the dunes this year for redemption and to play on some slippery rocks. On the way home, it slowly lost power and finally died 2 hours from home. While we waited for the rescue, we did some basic checks. No fault codes were stored, spark was good, fuel was good, and the air filter MAF sensor was clear. Back in the shop, I reconfirmed the spark and fuel were good. It would sputter a bit when starting fluid was used, but never fully fire. I disconnected the exhaust to check for anything plugged up. All clear. Finally, I did a compression test. Every cylinder was only given around 60 psi of compression. This could mean two things. Every cylinder washed out all the piston rings, creating massive blow-by, or something with the timing is off. Since I had just done the timing chains before the Sand Hollow trip, I started there. I pulled the front cover off, and that's when I found the first issue. Just a heads up, this is not a how-to video. It's a follow-along story of cause and effect. The crankshaft gear that spins the jack shaft is no longer keyed to the crankshaft. But what could have caused that? My current thoughts are two possibilities. That the crankshaft pulley bolt stretched, allowing the pulley and gear to move off the keyway, or the gear itself wasn't properly machined, never fully engaging the keyway, and broke free, hitting high RPMs in the dunes and mountain drives. I did reuse the crankshaft bolt, and apparently that's a one-time use stretch bolt. Let's pull the valve covers off to lock the camshafts in place so we can take everything apart. Okay, with the camshafts locked in place, I can remove the jackshaft bolt and pull the main chain off the gear. Oh wow, check that out. Looks like the woodruff key chipped away at the gear and allowed it to slip in place. Also, it looks like the woodruff key itself is damaged. If I put the old gear back on, it has a bunch of wiggle to it. The woodruff key is supposed to have a little tab sticking out on either end. Guess we'll replace that too. But I got a feeling that this fix isn't that simple. We need to do our due diligence and make sure there is no other issues happening here. Since the timing got so far off, we need to see if any valves touched the pistons. Let's stick this borescope through the spark plug hole. Ah, fuddernuckers. That shiny half-moon shape is the trace of a valve touching a piston. That means the cylinder heads need to come off and the valves need to come out to check for bending. With the intake manifold removed, the cylinder head bolts can come out and the heads will just pop right off. Although the bulkiness of the cylinder heads requires a bit of maneuvering to get them out. Right. With the heads out, we can work on getting the valves out. There's a special tool used to compress the valve spring so the rocker arms and valve spring keepers can be removed. Then the valve can be slipped right out. I can't tell by directly looking at them, but the valves don't seem bent. And if I roll them on the edge of the table, I don't see any wobble in the valve face. None of the valves on either head look bent. So there's a chance the valves touching the cylinder head was just very slight. But I've got new valves and new seals, so let's get these heads cleaned up and the new valves in. Wait a minute, what's that? There's a hairline crack in the space between one of the intake and exhaust valve seats. Actually, there's three cracks. 2 in one head and 1 in the other. At this point, these heads are basically done for. They would need to go to a machine shop to get ground and rebuilt, if the shop thought it was possible. I did a quick grind check myself, and the cracks just continued deeper into the head. Since these are factory heads and this is not a performance engine, I don't think it's worth the cost to have these rebuilt. Now there's a decision to be made. Purchase new heads, or find a replacement used engine and hope it doesn't need much work. I opted to get remanufactured cylinder heads. These are considered a complete head with valves, springs, and a camshaft already installed. The only thing to do is swap over the fuel rails and any bolts for brackets that were left in. They're so shiny! The pistons and the block mating surface need to be cleaned up, and the ridge from the valves touching the piston face need to be ground flat. If it was left in place, it can create a hot spot on the edge and cause a pre-detonation misfire. That's bad. These gaskets are left and right hand specific, so I have to make sure the coolant and the oil passages line up. Now the cylinder heads can go in and be bolted and torqued. Then the timing chains can be put back on. Front cover and the water pump goes on. Exhaust reconnected. Intake manifold installed, valve covers on. All the front accessories. Intake pipe and cooling fan. All that's left are the fluids. Shall we start it up? It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! Well, that repair took longer than I care to admit. It broke all the way back in March, and it's running again now in October. Frankly, I burned out a bit on it. I had just done the engine out timing chain job a couple weeks before the March Utah trip, so I was kind of done with it. Needed to find my interest again, and I did. You'll see what I found in an upcoming video. Thanks for watching.
Passengers, you come down. Straighten them out. Passenger. Butt pucker.
By the way, I broke a body mount on the Fins and Things trails in Moab, Utah. Add it to the list to fix.